8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Indrani Senanayake. The headlines. Detention orders issued on 4 suspects, including Rishad's wife. The health sector announces that it has become a major problem that some people in the age groups of over 30 years are reluctant to visit the vaccination centres to obtain their vaccines. The UGC has announced a grace period to send in university entrance applications from the 26th to the 30th of this month. More than 8.4 million people have been vaccinated under the COVID eradication program. News from overseas. The US President approves $100 million emergency funds to resettle Afghan refugees. The Colombo Magistrates Court today granted permission to the Kirlapana police to detain MP Rishad Baduddin's wife, who was arrested in connection with the death of an underage domestic aide at the parliamentarian's private residence. Accordingly, Shabdeen Aisha, 46, will be interrogated for 48 hours under detention orders. Meanwhile, the Borella police have obtained a 48-hour detention order on the lawmaker's father-in-law, Mohammed Shabdeen, brother-in-law and the intermediary who provided child labour to the Baduddin's family. The 4 suspects were produced before the Colombo Additional Magistrate, Kanchana Niranjani De Silva, earlier today. On July the 15th, it was reported that a 16-year-old girl who was serving as a domestic help at the Baduddin's residence had succumbed to severe burn injuries while receiving treatment at the Colombo National Hospital after receiving treatment for 12 days. The health sector announces that some people who are in the age group of over 30 years are reluctant to visit the vaccination centres to obtain their vaccines. This has become a major problem. The chairman of the State Pharmaceutical Corporation, specialist Dr. Prasanna Gunasekara, said that Sri Lanka is in the lead among the world countries regarding the vaccination program. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. We continue with local news. More than 8.4 million people have been vaccinated under the COVID eradication program. The vaccination program is being implemented island-wide. At present, the first dose of the vaccine has been provided to more than 6.6 million people. Moderna, Sinopharm, Pfizer, Sputnik V and the AstraZeneca vaccines are being utilized for COVID eradication. The program will be implemented for teachers and non-academic staff in future. Sri Lanka has registered 52 more COVID-19 related fatalities confirmed by the Director General of Health Services yesterday. The new development has pushed the official death toll from the virus outbreak in Sri Lanka to 4,054. According to the data released by the Department of Government Information, the latest victims confirmed today include 26 males and 26 females. Reportedly, among the victims are 1 male aged below 30 years, 12 victims aged between 30 to 59 years, and 39 others aged 60 and over. Next, we'll take a look at the main news story.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The UGC has announced a grace period to send in university entrance applications from the 26th to the 30th of this month. The chairman of the commission, Professor Sampath Amratunga, said that any changes that students wish to make to the order submitted by the universities or courses that have been chosen will be allowed from the 31st to the 14th of August. That was the main news story. Next is Watchlight.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight, several low-lying areas are inundated due to the blockage of the drainage network between the Colombo Galle Main Road and the Benthara and Amalangoda roads. Due to this reason, several cultivated lands in the area have been damaged. The residents in the area have requested the relevant authorities to clean and maintain the drainage system to prevent a recurring blockage problem. This is for the attention of the Provincial Road Development Authority and came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news will follow. On to world news, the headlines. The US President approves $100 million emergency funds to resettle Afghan refugees. Landslides, floods in India kill more than 130. China shuts down ports, cancels flights as Typhoon Infa nears. US President Joe Biden has authorized up to $100 million from an emergency fund to meet the unexpected urgent refugee needs stemming from the situation in Afghanistan, including the Afghan special immigration visa applications, the White House said. Biden also approved on Friday the release of $200 million in services and articles from the inventories of U.S. government agencies to meet the same needs, the White House said. The United States is preparing to begin evacuating thousands of Afghan applicants for special immigration visas who are at risk from the Taliban because they worked for the US government. Landslides and floods triggered by heavy monsoon rains in western India have killed more than 130 people. The west state of Maharashtra has been swamped by downpours, which have continued since Thursday. A number of landslides have been confirmed. State authorities say that more than 30 people have died in a village about 100 kilometers from the commercial hub, Mumbai. China has shut down railways and ports, with cargo ships ordered out to the sea and flights cancelled before Typhoon Infa's expected landfall. The storm is projected to hit the eastern coastal province of Zhejiang near Shanghai late on Sunday, just as other parts of the country struggle to recover from the devastating floods earlier in the week. Infa had sustained winds of up to 155 kilometers per hour with gusts of up to 191 kilometers as it moved northwest from Taiwan, where it caused high waves and heavy rain, but there were no reports of deaths or injuries. To end this bulletin of world news, the headlines again. The US President approves $100 million US emergency funds to resettle Afghan refugees. Landslides, floods in India kill more than 130. China shuts down ports, cancels flights as Typhoon Infa nears. That ends this bulletin of world news. Development news follows.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Development news. Another 22 roads were carpeted and developed in the Divisional Secretariat Division of Ratgama, Baddegama and Bentara. It will be implemented under the 100-kilometer road development program. 3.8 million rupees will be spent for the program. Under this program, roads of rural areas will be developed. That was a look at development news. A look at sports news next.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
On to sports news. Sri Lankan badminton champion Niluka Karunaratne was defeated in the first match 2-0 at the Olympic Games. He competed with China Taipei's T.W. Wang, who is in the 10th place at the world grading. According to grading, Niluka is in the 99th place. Meanwhile, Sweden put on another impressive display to defeat Australia in the women's football competition in the Tokyo 2020 despite Sam Kerr scoring twice. Chelsea striker Kerr also had a penalty saved, denying her a hat-trick in the 4-2 defeat by Sweden, who beat the United States in their opener. Meanwhile, Zambia captain Barbara Banda scored a second successive hat-trick as the African nation drew 4-4 with China. There were early gold medals for China, Iran and South Korea on a sweltering opening day of the Tokyo Olympic Games. Athletes complained about exhausting conditions given the combination of high temperatures and humidity, with several tennis players asking for matches to be moved to start later in the day. That was a look at sports news. Next we have business news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The Hambantota International Port recorded its highest discharge level of bulk cargo recently when a shipment of gypsum consigned to INSEE Cement was unloaded at a rate of 24,000 metric tons per day by port operations. Toshita Gurnavarasuriya, Director Procurement and Logistics of INSEE Cement, says this was an extraordinary achievement for a Sri Lankan port in terms of speed and efficiency. Well, that was a look at business news. Economic news follows.
Business news. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The Sri Lanka Land Development Corporation has given a positive start to the government's policy decision on the use of organic fertilizer and has initiated a program to increase the amount of bio-organic compost produced at the Kerawalapitiya Solid Waste Management Park from 15 metric tons per day to 50 metric tons per day, according to the Ministry of Urban Development and Housing. That was economic news. And next is the weather report.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Department of Meteorology warned that due to the active southwest monsoon over Sri Lanka, fairly strong gusty winds up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour are likely across the island. Thereby, strong gusty winds up to 60 kilometers per hour can be expected on the western slopes of the Central Hills, the northern, north central, northwestern and southern provinces and in the Trincomalee district. The Met Department has urged people who are living in the aforementioned areas to be vigilant in this regard. That was a look at the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
To end tonight's news broadcast, we take a look at the headlines again. Detention orders issued on 4 suspects, including Rishad's wife. The health sector announces that it has become a major problem that some people in the age groups of over 30 years are reluctant to visit the vaccination centres to obtain their vaccines. The UGC has announced a grace period to send in university entrance applications from the 26th to the 30th of this month. More than 8.4 million people have been vaccinated under the COVID eradication program. And in foreign news, the US president approves $100 million emergency funds to resettle Afghan refugees. Well, that ends tonight's news broadcast.